The scent of freshly tilled earth always reminded me of the day I dissected the neighbor's cat at 4. At 5. I was orchestrating a grand 100 emotions tableau with every bird I could find in the backyard. Everyone, from my parents to the housekeepers, called me crazy. Only my older sister, Joan, held me tight, begging Mom and Dad not to send me away, swearing she'd teach me to be good. They finally gave in. So I started faking it, playing the obedient child for 10 long years. Until Joan was sent off to a diplomatic marriage and died a month after being officially named a princess consort. I went to my father, insisting he send me for a diplomatic marriage. When Joan's body was returned, a heavy snow fell across the city. I held a hand warmer, asking a nearby maid, "Shouldn't my sister's body be buried in the Great Xia imperial tombs?" The maid froze, speechless. My mother, on the other side, was clinging to my father, her voice hoarse with grief. Even I, a mere woman, know that armies at war do not harm envoys. Joan went for a diplomatic marriage, and they tortured her to death. What do they mean by sending her back? The journey was so long and rough. My Joan didn't find peace even in death. If you have any semblance of an emperor, you'll kill every single person from Great Xia. Kill them. Father. My father let Mother pull at him, his eyes only slowly reddening. Those murky, aged eyes showed a hint of humiliation and weakness. I dropped my hand warmer and walked over, yanking open my sister's coffin lid with a bang. Inside lay my sister. Her face, which a scholar would describe as world-shattering beauty, was crisscrossed with knife scars. Her arms, which used to gently hold mine, were unnaturally twisted. "Get out! All of you!" I screamed. I rarely showed such a madwoman's demeanor. The maids and eunuchs, remembering my past eccentricities, lowered their heads, their faces pale as they backed away. Once the room was clear, I disregarded all decorum and climbed into the coffin, feeling around my sister's body. Her chest felt unnaturally soft, not like a corpse at all. My eyes wide. Not a single tear fell as I calmly pushed aside my sister's clothes. "Jiaohua, what are you doing?" my mother shrieked. But I had already pulled back the clothes. Her chest and abdominal cavity were gone, replaced by cotton. I grew even calmer, pulling out the cotton. Frozen maggots rained down onto my sister's body. Great Xia was supposedly spring-like year-round. For a body to decompose like this, they hadn't even bothered with preservation methods. I patiently picked out the maggots and then redressed my sister. Stepping out of the coffin, I ordered Joan's body to be taken to my chambers. I was always good at destroying and dissecting birds, using poisons to harm cats and dogs. Those were my true talents. But restoring my sister's body? I wasn't good at it. No. 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 I muttered, anxiously biting my fingernails until they bled. The sharp pain brought me back to reality. I should kill some palace maids, cut off their limbs, and use them for my sister. No. I'd need to kill more, just in case my crude work wasn't perfect enough. I held a dagger, squatting wide-eyed on the chaise lounge, biting my nails and rocking back and forth, just like my sister used to comfort me when I was little. The maids, terrified, knelt on the floor. They knew their lives were forfeit. But were they the ones who truly deserved to die? No. The real culprits were elsewhere. Thinking this, I grabbed the dagger and ran out. Sure enough, I heard voices from outside. It's just a princess from a small border country who died. The emperor didn't even dare to fart. But you have to admit, she was a princess. Playing with her was different. Her screams. Her tears. TSK TSK TSK. If it weren't for Consort Rong's orders to ruin her face and destroy her body, I would have secretly hidden her away and played with her longer. What a pity. What a pity. It's fine. We sent Princess Junhua back. Wasn't it to ask for another princess? This useless emperor wouldn't dare not to give us one. I wonder if the next princess will be as much fun. I leaned against the courtyard wall, taking a deep breath. My sister's body. Fragments of the envoy's conversation, it wasn't much, but enough to piece together some truth. The hand gripping the dagger began to tremble. An unknown emotion began to ache deep within my heart. I held that dagger until I burst into my mother's chambers. Father was there. And so were several other princesses. Great Xia still wanted a diplomatic marriage. The princesses cried. Their eyes red. Unwilling but forced to go. Father was still the same, the man praised for his kindness and his youth had become weak and cowardly. Even though our country, Qingchuan, could not rival Great Xia. This fact made him look even older. He saw me and shot up. Seeing no blood on my dagger, he breathed a sigh of relief. Jiaohua, do you have something important to say? He asked. I nodded. Send me for a diplomatic marriage. My father and mother's faces instantly turned pale. A mother knows her daughter best. Mother was the first to react. Tears streaming down her face. Jiaohua. No. I closed my eyes. Mother didn't know. Father didn't know. None of them knew. If that was the case, I would tell them. All I wanted to do now was kill. Whether I killed the people of Great Xia or those in the palace, father and mother could decide for themselves. A month later, I stood as I wished in the imperial city of Great Xia. The emperor of Great Xia did not see me immediately. But I saw Consort Rong. She was a woman of delicate beauty. With her elaborate robes, she exuded an air of attractiveness. She looked down at me, hooking my chin, forcing me to look up. Just like your sister. A lowlife wench. I grinned. Consort means I am as beautiful as my sister? Actually, no. My sister was much prettier than I. If she hadn't been so beautiful, why did I always feel I had done something wrong whenever she cried because of me? Consort Rong's face changed. And she raised her hand to strike me. In this world, if anyone could hit me, it could only be my sister. I raised my hand and grabbed Consort Rong's wrist, not putting in an ounce of effort. Be careful. Your Highness. If your hand leaves a mark on my face, the emperor will be displeased. Consort Rong's face twisted in pain. She signaled to her maids while cursing me. What kind of lowlife maid dares to teach me? I need to pick a day to hit you. Indeed. You must pick a day, I said, releasing her hand and casually sitting down, touching my face. What a beautiful face. It can make those who killed my sister hate it so much. I reined in my thoughts and giggled coquettishly. The emperor hasn't used me yet. What if he suddenly takes an interest today? This wretched emperor allowed my sister to be killed. Yet now he wanted another princess. What he loved were exotic beauties like us. Who would dare touch something he hadn't used? Consort Rong indeed stopped. She glared at me hatefully. Remembering something, she suddenly smiled. Then you'd better pray the emperor never favors you. After all, you know what happens to princesses who are favored. At the mention of my sister, my smile grew even wider. But I said nothing. Consort Rong gave me a strange look. Then angrily waved her hand. Crazy. When the emperor came to my chambers, I was bathing. I suppose I should thank Consort Rong. She must have reported me. When I heard footsteps behind me, I didn't bother to hide, turning my head with a hint of panic in my eyes. I must have been stunningly beautiful, for I saw amazement in the emperor's eyes. I shrank into the bath. Who are you? I asked curiously. I knew what would happen next. I didn't care. He had a vast empire. Millions of soldiers. Endless wealth. And countless sycophants in the court. All I had was a beautiful face and a mad mind. And a life that, without my sister's protection, would have long ago been cast aside to rot. The emperor quietly stared at me, his gaze sticky as it swept over every inch of my skin. Then he condescendingly knelt, lifting his hand to tuck a wet strand of hair behind my ear. Look at your husband, he said. I stood up again, as if all the blood in my body boiled at that sentence. Had he said that to my sister? He must have. And then he watched her die. All of them. I looked at the emperor, then swept my gaze over the attending palace staff. All of them deserved to die. I put on a compliant facade, as if I truly were an innocent little princess. I was obediently carried by the emperor. You always pretend to be good. My sister's chiding voice suddenly echoed in my ears. I wrapped my arms around the emperor's neck. And finally, 2 months after my sister's death, I shed tears. The emperor chuckled. Why are you crying? Ah. I nodded. Scared. So scared. I'm scared you won't die painfully enough. Unwilling enough. How can my sister's spirit rest in peace? When Consort Rong heard I had been favored, she couldn't sit still. When she arrived, I was lounging lazily on the chaise lounge. Consort Rong's face twisted in anger. She clutched her chest, scolding me as an unrefined commoner who didn't even know how to bow. Bow to her? She doesn't deserve it. I smiled sweetly. Sister Rong. I learned a new word today. Consort Rong stopped the hand she was raising to strike me. What? I smiled provocatively. Shi Chong or Jiao acting arrogant due to favor. Consort Rong, She was furious. Yet, being from a noble family, she had never encountered a madwoman as unrestrained as I. After calming herself, Consort Rong finally regained her composure. Once calm, one knows how to strike a snake at its vital point, or how to kick a cripple's good leg in a fight. So she suddenly smiled contentedly. Sister, you're celebrating a bit too early. I feigned surprise. Oh? Consort Rong leaned in closer, lowering her voice. Do you think the emperor will always favor you? Do you know what the emperor likes to do? And where he usually goes? What if your good sister was favored? In the end, didn't she still incur the emperor's displeasure? Do you know how she died? Many men, guards, executioners, eunuchs, the emperor watched her take her last breath. She was so tenacious. She bled so much. Yet it took her a full 7 days to die. With each word Consort Rong spoke, my face grew paler. She thought I was scared. So she smiled triumphantly, straightening up. If I were you, I would always show respect and be polite to me. Then I might let you die a bit sooner. My lips trembled. And I uncontrollably thought of my sister's final moments. The truth, previously pieced together from her body and fragmented words, became more concrete. I could almost see my sister lying in a pool of blood, crying despairingly. But why wasn't I there? Why didn't I stop my sister from going for a diplomatic marriage? No. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. I covered my head, hitting my forehead. Consort Rong was satisfied. She squinted at me, thinking I had gone mad with fear, and left with a smile. The emperor often came to see me. He said the incense in my chamber smelled good, and that my innocent and naive nature made him feel refreshed. I laughed sweetly, massaging his aching forehead. He lay defenseless on my lap, eyes closed, enjoying himself. Because he knew that even if my sister died in his palace, I, a princess from a small border country, could only rely on his whim to ensure peace and prosperity for my nation. I massaged his forehead, my index finger tracing downwards to his neck, feeling his pulse. My eyes gleamed with greed. Humans, unlike cats and dogs, are devoid of emotion and loyalty. Once a vital spot is injured, there is no remedy. Don't move. The imperial physician said pinching the back of the neck will help you sleep better at night, I said, pressing down on the restless emperor, gently rubbing him. The emperor was quite pleased, letting me knead him clumsily for a while before he took my hand. I'll take you to a good place, he said. My arm stiffened, and I suddenly broke into a brilliant smile. Sister, I'm so happy. The emperor said he was taking me to a good place. I remembered the letter my sister sent home before she died. She had used a secret code only we knew to tell me that the Emperor of Great Xia was a cruel and pleasure-seeking ruler. After my sister had served him for a long time, he proposed to take her to a good place. It was a torture chamber decorated with lavish gold, where gilded ornaments and fresh blood shimmered in horrifying harmony. It terrified my sister, giving her nightmares. Because of her fear, the emperor grew to despise her. Ultimately, this fear brought about her demise. Severed limbs, bloodied people, venomous tongues, pillars of fire, wailing, tears, all of it constituted this good place. The emperor led me by the hand, as if showing off his empire. The one over there, with the wet right leg, is a spy from the southern barbarians. I had people stop his bleeding and force-fed him ginseng and lingji to keep him alive. Look at him. He should make it through the summer without a problem. And that Western region beauty tried to assassinate her during the birthday banquet. She's skilled in bed. A truly charming person. The torturers here find her amusing when they're tired. It's a pity her mouth can't be used. It would be a shame if she bit off her tongue and committed suicide. The Grand Tutor's youngest son, the Grand Tutor, was ignorant, thinking I was still a child, trying to teach me how to rule. So I taught his son how to be a good person. Look at her now. She's a good worker. He saved me a lot of trouble. With the Grand Tutor around, he wouldn't dare commit suicide. The emperor spoke. Observing my expression, I showed a look of concern. His face changed, and he was about to question me. But then he heard me say worriedly, "The Grand Tutor has many protégés. Does His Majesty usually get annoyed by them doing this?" The Emperor's expression was fascinating: murderous intent, scrutiny, judgment, then wild joy. Suddenly, he embraced me, pressing a kiss to my lips. "Jiaohua, aren't you scared?" he asked. I blinked, still maintaining my obedient demeanor. After pondering for a moment, I shook my head. "Your Majesty must do this because they are all evil people. Evil people deserve to go to hell. Your Majesty is the Son of Heaven. What does it matter if you build hell in the palace?" The Emperor was even happier. I imagine he had brought many people here before. Besides my sister. Perhaps other concubines too. He knew the expressions of those who feigned composure. So, seeing my utterly bewildered and candid face, he was even more delighted. He embraced me and turned into a side room of the torture chamber. He was even more monstrous than I. He had a resting room within the torture chamber, where hearing the wails and pleas outside only heightened his excitement. What a shame. If I had been the one sent for the diplomatic marriage from the start, the Emperor and I would have been a match made in heaven. But it was my sister who was sent. And now the Emperor and I were sworn enemies. I lay supine on the couch, laughing along with the Emperor as I stared at the ceiling. "My sister. He humiliated and killed you by using others as his tools. Now, he's about to become my tool. Soon." From that day on, the Emperor came to my chambers more frequently. Most of the time, he would lead me to the torture chambers, which greatly excited him. But an emperor is still an emperor, with many concubines in his harem. He had to balance his time. So, when Consort Rong's personal maid rushed in, saying Consort Rong was suffering from an extreme headache and was disoriented, the Emperor only showed a flicker of impatience before rising and leaving. I expressionlessly got up, put on my clothes, and went to the side room. My small, self-made apothecary, fully stocked with medicine. I recalled that when I was young, I must have been congenitally deficient, unable to comprehend others' love, hatred, or sorrow. When others feared me, I only felt confusion and anger. Only my sister said she loved me and wanted me to be well. I was overjoyed. Yet immediately after, I felt a tremor of fear. My sister was going to marry. She would love someone else more than her sister. So I studied books and prepared herbs. My fingernails always stained with medicinal residue. My sister never got angry. She would only smile and tease me. "Jiaohua wants to be a physician?" I shook my head. "I'm making medicine to make my sister love me forever." That year, I was only 7 years old. My sister laughed. "There's no such medicine in this world." Seeing my tear-filled eyes, she quickly embraced me again. "But even without that medicine, sister will always love Jiaohua." "What is the lady doing?" a maid serving nearby asked curiously. I didn't raise my head, carefully filtering the herbal residue. "Just playing around. Nothing to do." I finally ground the residue, then stored it away. "Don't touch anything here," I instructed, then got up to bathe. When Consort Rong brought people to apprehend me, I was napping. Suddenly awakened, I felt agitated and gloomy. Consort Rong still maintained her haughty demeanor. approaching me and looking down from above. Princess Jiaohua. What audacity! She always refused to call me by my official title, simply calling me princess to constantly remind me I was a guest under their roof. Since I hadn't had enough sleep, my face remained cold. What do you mean? Consort Rong pulled a porcelain bottle from her sleeve. Her eyes filled with schadenfreude. Princess Jiaohua. As a concubine in the harem, you have privately set up an apothecary and refined pills. Are you perhaps trying to bring misfortune upon the harem? My mind instantly cleared. I looked at the maids who usually attended me. Consort Rong smiled, just about to speak, when a voice from outside announced, "The Emperor arrives." The Emperor arrived quickly. As everyone knelt, his sharp gaze swept over everyone present. "Your Majesty." Consort Rong, who had dealt with countless women in the harem, knew exactly what to do at such a moment. Her face was filled with concern. As if deeply disappointed, she handed the porcelain bottle to the Emperor, meticulously explaining the whole story. Finally, the hidden smile in her eyes turned to me, though her face still wore that disappointed expression. This concubine feared wronging my sister. So after obtaining the item, I consulted with the imperial physician. Even the imperial physician could not identify the substance mixed in these pills. She hesitated, but everything was implied. The Emperor looked at me, our past affection evaporating like smoke. "Do you have anything to say?" I looked at the Emperor. I thought he liked me because I wasn't afraid of his torture chambers, and even found amusement with him there. If I were my sister, precious and willing to feign obedience for 10 years just to ease his mind, the Emperor must have searched for a long time, hoping for someone who understood him. Someone who found pleasure in cruelty and bloodshed. He wanted genuine enjoyment, not hidden tolerance born of fear. I had achieved that. So now, he wanted me to explain, to prove my innocence. But my sister never asked me to prove my innocence. Thinking of my sister, I snatched the porcelain bottle from his hand, my eyes reddening. "Does your Majesty also think this is poison?" I audaciously questioned him. In his astonished gaze, I poured out 2 pills and put them in my mouth. "Poison who? You?" I swallowed the pills whole, pressing closer to him, questioning him again and again, catching the probing and hesitant look in his eyes. I turned to Consort Rong. Or Consort Rong? Consort Rong had not anticipated this turn of events. Her natural instinct made her back away, revealing a panicked expression. "Are you afraid? Do you also feel fear? What are you afraid of? That I will die with you? You don't deserve it." I grabbed Consort Rong's hand, stepped forward, and with the fastest speed, stuffed the remaining pills in my hand into Consort Rong's mouth. MMPH. Consort Rong was terrified. She frantically slapped at my hand, covering her mouth. I looked at Consort Rong, and suddenly, I found her so beautiful. Her fear, her tears, her pleas, this vibrant beauty almost brought tears to my eyes. Seeing her swallow the pills, I finally released her hand. "Your Majesty! Your Majesty!" Consort Rong collapsed to the ground, scrambling to grab the Emperor's robe. She stood up clumsily, her face streaked with tears. She cried out, "Your Majesty! Save me! Hu Jiaohua! Hu Jiaohua is trying to harm me. Summon the imperial physician. Summon the imperial physician. Guards! The emperor loved beautiful things. But how strange. He didn't seem to love Consort Roan in that moment. Even though Consort Roan looked much more appealing than usual this time. I stood to the side. My head bowed. Coldly watching the emperor push her away in disgust. Consort Roan looked at me. I subtly curved my eyes. Feeling my face didn't hold too much of a smile. I asked him. Your Majesty. Who do you think will die first? Me or Consort Roan? The emperor was silent for a long time. He sighed faintly. Stepped forward. And pinched my chin. Forcing me to open my mouth. Then he forcibly made me bend over. Good girl. Spit out the medicine. Even if it's not poisonous. You shouldn't take it randomly. I bent over. Staring at the tips of my shoes. Laughing heartily. Clever as the emperor was. He should have known by then that it wasn't poisonous. But he dared not gamble. So he wanted to see what I would do. What did he think I would do? Defend myself hysterically? Accuse him tearfully of not trusting me? No. I would use his methods. Mad and cruel. Seeking revenge for every wrong. If he incurred ill repute, he would strike back with that same ill repute. And then, I would use my words and actions to tell him. Look. You and I are the same person. I am the one you want to find. The one you want to love. What are you laughing at? The emperor saw that I couldn't spit it out and supported me. His movements were so gentle. Almost clumsy. As he smoothed my disheveled hair. Are you upset? He asked. Probing me. Are you upset that I didn't immediately take your side? No. I stared at him. Just smiling. Your Majesty. The Son of Heaven. Whoever you say is right. Is right. I'll listen to you. No one had probably ever spoken to the emperor with such sarcasm. His initial reaction was not good. But then he sighed deeply. Pulling me into his embrace. Why the strange words? Resentment is resentment. It is my fault. I blinked. And tears rolled down my cheeks. In a trance. I felt as if I had seen this scene somewhere before. Look. You're testing my limits again. Naughty Xiaohua. I remembered. It was my sister. My sister had also helplessly conceded to me like this. I was using the same trick I used to coax my sister on the emperor. What a good trick. It was stained now. I cried. Feeling utterly wronged. And began to sob quietly against the emperor's shoulder. Soon. My cries grew louder. No. No. This wasn't right. I was crying like this. My sister should come to comfort me now. She should bring candied fruit to coax me. Xiaohua, the emperor held me. Looking somewhat flustered. He patted my back to soothe me and glanced at the astonished Consort Roan. Then his face turned cold. She is so cruel. He said. Consort Roan. Why are you still here? Being an eyesore? Overnight. The harem changed. Consort Roan became concubine Roan. Confined to her chambers and forbidden to leave without imperial decree. As for the spies in my palace, the emperor had them all removed. I lay weakly on the chaise lounge, idly stroking the emperor's black hair. Today, he had untied his hair, and his black hair spread like ink-colored seaweed over my body and legs. What's so fun about hair? The emperor, his head resting on my lap, raised a hand to caress my cheek. I lowered my eyes and said nothing as the incense in the hall was almost burned out. I ordered a maid to light a new stick. Jiaohua. Are you feeling unwell? The emperor suddenly asked. I blinked blankly, my eyes questioning him about the pills. The emperor took my hand, squeezing my palm. I had the imperial physicians examine them. They checked many ancient texts and finally found out that it's a unique substance from your Qi kingdom. It can relieve pain and soothe heart palpitations. Jiaohua. Are you unwell? I coldly pulled my hand away, ignoring him. Just playing around. Once. It's a flirtatious push and pull. Twice. It's showing a temper. 3 times. It's taking advantage. The emperor's face turned cold. He stood up and ordered someone to tie his hair. Since Jiaohua isn't in the mood, I'll come another day. I turned my face away. Your Majesty. A maid nearby suddenly knelt. My lady took that medicine because. I bared my teeth with a roar. Is this a place for you to speak? The maid's face turned white, and she shut her mouth. But the emperor told her to speak, so she had no choice but to say. My lady saw that your Majesty had headaches every day. That's why she took that medicine. My lady cares for your Majesty, but was too shy to say so. I shot up, cursed the maid as a stupid wretch, and then quickly walked towards the inner chambers. The emperor quickly followed, his expression changing. Jiaohua. You were happy just now, he said, joy almost overflowing from his eyes. I looked at him quietly, then slowly smiled. Really? I'm happy too. After that day, the emperor changed somewhat. He believed I loved him, and that belief made him so happy that he even killed fewer people. He loved me too. So when he took me to the torture chambers for amusement, he would ask for my opinion. He was trying to respect me. A monster who acquired something precious, yet didn't know how to cherish it. Just like when I was young and foolish, seeing my sister loved playing with birds. I invited every bird in the courtyard to create a 100 emotions tableau for her. The emperor was equally foolish. He didn't use the right method to please me. He should have ordered his men to bring him his head and consort Rong's head to present to me. Only then would I love him. Days passed like this. I watched the growing love in the emperor's eyes and was overjoyed. What made me even happier was that a few days ago, the imperial physician took my pulse and confirmed I was pregnant. I was almost weeping with joy. The emperor, however, panicked. He froze for a moment, then paced back and forth a few times before recovering. He pressed the imperial physician for confirmation, and after receiving an affirmative answer, he was flustered for a moment before joyfully embracing me. This is wonderful. Jiaohua. We should have a child. We should have had a child long ago. The emperor was as happy as a child. After finally calming down, he hastily asked the imperial physician how to regulate my body and what precautions I should take. I leaned against the bed, watching him blindly lift his hand to stroke my flat lower abdomen, and couldn't help but sigh. This is good. I have another chip to play. The emperor's favored concubine being pregnant was naturally a cause for joy. A general amnesty for the entire realm was out of the question, but pardoning those in the harem was possible. The emperor carefully embraced me, even speaking softly. Pardon those sinners. In the future, our child will be their benefactor. How wonderful. When the child is born, more people will kneel before them. He pulled me to him and asked if I wanted to be empress. Jiahua should be empress. Our first child. Boy or girl? Should have everything in Great Xia. The very best. The emperor kissed my hand. Looking up at me. I looked at his radiant eyes. Filled with joy and anticipation. So beautiful. The more I looked, the more I liked him. I cupped his face, kissing each of his eyes once. I don't want to be empress. I want you, I said. Every word sincere and from the heart. Even if the emperor wanted to, he couldn't spend every day and night with me. He had official duties. Endless memorials to review. Whenever that happened, I would wander around the harem. After the concubines in the cold palace were released and confined outside the palace, the forgotten concubines finally found a place to breathe. As for me, I was waiting for an encounter. The harem, though not huge, was large enough that I waited and hoped. And finally I saw the person I wanted to see, concubine Rong. She had lost a lot of weight. My heart ached for her. She was so frail that she might not last 7 days. I would be sad. So I instructed the maids beside me to send her some of the imperial tonics from my chambers. You're pretending to be kind. Concubine Rong's face darkened. Her paper-thin chest heaving violently. She had been imprisoned for so long. Almost forgotten even by the emperor. Standing in the imperial garden. Her chest could no longer contain her resentment. Her grievances. And her unwillingness. All these emotions choked her. She knew she should rein in her wings and speak cautiously. But she had no outlet for her frustration. Do you think you can be arrogant for long? Concubine Rong couldn't hold back her sharp words. She approached me. Her gaze falling on my slightly swollen abdomen. What if you have a child? The outcome is already decided. She gave a bitter laugh. Then 2 more. Remembering something. Her bleak laughter grew even more triumphant. Her face was filled with delight. Your older sister also had a child. Did you know? I sharply looked up, shifting my gaze from the nearby pond to her. Seeing my reaction, concubine Rong was overjoyed. Oh. You probably didn't know. After all, even if our Great Xia imperial child was less than 3 months old, they should still be buried in our Great Xia imperial tombs. The pond water was so green. What if I pretended she pushed me in? Would the emperor kill her? Huijiahua. Concubine Rong whispered into my ear. The palace never lacks women or children. I ignored her. Only looking at her. Why didn't she push me? Even hitting me would be fine. She needed an excuse to accuse her. Right? Concubine Rong. Huijinhua's fate might not be wrong for you. I wanted to deal with her. Why did I need an excuse? I stood here. Always to see her suffer. I suddenly looked up and raised my hand. Pushing her. Unprepared. Concubine Rong stumbled into the pond. Help! Help me! Only then did I realize concubine Rong couldn't swim. I took the handkerchief offered by a maid and wiped my palm. My mind clear. Quickly. Find someone to pull concubine Rong out. Don't let her catch a cold. I said. Then. I gave concubine Rong a deep look and lightly walked away. Jiahua. You were too reckless today. Concubine Rong's father and his followers were speaking against you in court today. The emperor suddenly said before he went to sleep. I closed my eyes. naturally knowing why concubine Rong dared to repeatedly threaten and provoke me with words. But the person behind concubine Rong. There was no need for me to deal with him personally. The emperor was still there. I pretended to be asleep. Seeing I didn't reply, the emperor got up and looked at me. Then he ordered the lights to be extinguished. I had a dream. I dreamed of my sister. She was so happy, cradling her stomach as she looked at me. Jiaohua. Come quickly. Joy filled my chest. I ran over, extending my hand but not daring to touch my sister's belly. Jiaohua. Don't be afraid, my sister said, taking my hand and placing it on her abdomen. Blood splashed onto my hand. It was gone. Everything was gone. There was only a bloody hole in my sister's abdomen. I screamed in terror, embracing my sister, who had collapsed sometime before, and wailed. I begged heaven and earth, begged every blurred face before me. Save my sister. Save my sister. My sister in my arms was startled by my cries and suddenly opened her eyes. Jiaohua. Why haven't you avenged me yet? Jiaohua. Jiaohua is here. Here. Wake up. My hand was enveloped in a warm palm. I hazily opened my eyes and saw the emperor. His face filled with worry. Seeing that I had finally woken up, he let out a sigh of relief. Did you have a nightmare? I stared blankly at the empty space. Muttering. She said. I'll be like my older sister. My older sister. She killed your older sister. The emperor was momentarily confused. Then his face changed. Hu Jinhua. Shut up. He remembered. He finally remembered that Hu Xiaohua had an older sister who died tragically in his palace. The emperor's expression shifted endlessly, his eyes flickering with an indescribable emotion as he stared at me. Then he leaned down and embraced me, comforting me. Don't be afraid. Jiaohua won't be like that. His hand roamed over my body, finally resting on my abdomen. I will get justice for you. I nodded lightly, returning his embrace. His eyes gazed blankly upwards, and he began to smile. My blade. Don't sharpen yourself too quickly. A dull knife cutting flesh is much more interesting. A month later, the emperor came to me with a beaming face, his smile as innocent as a young boy's. He took my hand. Jiaohua. I have a gift for you. Without allowing me to ask further, the emperor excitedly led me to the torture chamber. It was still the same torture chamber. Even before we arrived, we could clearly hear the screams from within. I keenly caught a familiar voice and gripped the emperor's hand tighter. It was concubine Rong. She was shackled, her clothes tattered, lying on the ground like a dead dog. Jiaohua. Are you happy? The emperor asked me. Concubine Rong heard the emperor's voice and struggled to get up. Your Majesty. This concubine did not harm Hu Xiaohua. This concubine did not. She miserably crawled towards the emperor. Only then did I realize concubine Rong's legs were crippled. The emperor had forgotten how many people she had harmed. My sister's hands were broken. Ah. It's you. Concubine Rong finally saw me. You must have said something to the emperor. You ruined me. How dare you? My father. My father? Concubine Rong was a little mad, her mind disoriented. Sometimes cursing me, sometimes asking to see her parents. I turned to the emperor. Where are concubine Rong's parents? All imprisoned. The emperor replied coldly. Concubine Rong seemed to suddenly sober up, abruptly stopping her crying. She stared blankly at the hem of the emperor's robe for a moment. Then she suddenly erupted. My father contributed so much for your throne. He eliminated so many of your enemies. You sit securely on the throne. All thanks to my father. Why? Why? The emperor's eyes turned cold. And he shouted. Guards! At his command, several strong men appeared and dragged concubine Rong towards a corner. My attention was diverted. Those men were the ones who brought my sister home. They, too, were complicit in my sister's fate. A huge joy surged in my chest. A subtle, pervasive delight that almost filled my broken soul. I want them.